Welcome to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays
to all the listeners out there. We did it. It's holiday.
I have to do it every year.
It's the holiday season.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Listen, Trump's president. Almost. We could say it again. You don't have to be afraid.
I'm going to say Merry Christmas, but I'm also going to say
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
holidays.
good tidings.
Whatever it is.
Have a beautiful Yule.
Yeah.
I hope your Yuletide is terrific.
Yeah, I hope you have a cool
Cast
Yule.
all of your beautiful witching spells on the Yule.
You stepped
during
on
your
me saying
winter
cool Yule. I
solstice.
want to make sure you
Cool
register
Yule.
that.
I'm sorry. Cool Yule. Have a cool Yule.
You know what that's from?
No.
A Bette Midler Christmas album that came out in like 2006.
Yeah.
It was like, I think the album was called Cool Yule. And I was working
there's no way she originated that term.
I was working in a record store at the time. Ask your grandparents. And I heard it a lot.
Oh my God.
A lot of Bette Midler. But yes, no, she absolutely invented Cool Yule.
Cool Yule.
But today we are talking about an incredible Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm. This is like, for all the basic girlies who are like, Die Hard's my favorite Christmas movie. Are like people even doing that anymore? Get over it.
Yeah.
Black Christmas. That's the response. Be like, well, Black Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie.
Absolutely. Black Christmas from 1974, directed by Bob Clark.
Who directed Bill's actual favorite Christmas movie, which is A Christmas Story.
Right, which is a lot of people's favorite Christmas movie.
And it has a lot of the same texture as this movie.
Well, yeah, I want to get into him as an auteur because I think he has actual very distinct style.
That's interesting.
It's amazing trivia that his most well-known movie, A Christmas Story, is a Christmas movie, and then this is also a Christmas. But then this is also important too because this movie comes out in December 1974, only 2 months after Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but 4 years before Halloween.
Yes, huge influence on Halloween.
This is really
a
one
lot
of the first
come from
slashers.
this. Yeah,
I mean, like if you're going in order, like so often we forget like the European movies, like or the Italian movies, like the Giallo movies, because those I think had a huge influence on slashers. But like typically we say like Peeping Tom and Psycho, and then we go all the way to Halloween, and it's like Black Christmas, man. Like it's
great.
There's POV shots of the killer.
You're only seeing POV basically from the killer,
which is we think of like Peeping Tom does that in a more narrative way because we see the killer in that, but he'll be holding a camera. But we think of that as like the brilliance of Halloween, and it's like this movie does it.
Yeah,
a lot. I do love this movie. It's. I think Bill was saying like before I watched it, I thought it was going to be like Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is like a slasher movie where like the killer's just up like Santa. It's not a very good movie. And there's a bunch of those, including the last
Santa's sleigh.
Yeah,
like
there's
SLAY,
a lot of it.
That's
not this.
The
This
most
is just
recent Terrifier.
Yeah. This is just a slasher movie that takes place at Christmas.
To take place, yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good. I've never seen it. I've just never seen it. That's it. So I've never seen it before yesterday. And you suggested this to me as the Christmas episode. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do it. It probably isn't that good. And like, I only was aware of it as like a cult movie, and you were like, well, just try it. And then if you don't have anything to say about it, we'll talk about something else. So now after Thanksgiving, like Bill and I are so tired. We're like, all right, let's watch this movie. And then the two of us were riveted and we loved it. And we thought it was funny at parts and the story is extremely compelling. It is so scary at times. Like, great.
It's so good.
It's great. It is such a great movie.
Remember Stefan from SNL?
Yes, this movie has everything.
I wrote a Stefan.
Yes.
This movie has everything. An anti-establishment Christmas slasher that has POV shots of the killer, made 4 years before Halloween, a sassy Margot Kidder, a drunk sorority mother, a subplot about an abortion and a woman's right to choose what happens to her body, a super young Andrea Martin, and John fucking Saxon.
Pre-SCTV. I love John Saxon.
I love John Saxon. When you could have an obvious comb over and still be a handsome man.
So handsome.
I
kept telling Bill, I was like, he's got such beautiful eyelashes.
He's great. And
I was like, God, what a great profile. They keep shooting him in profile. And I was like, by the end of the movie, I was like, I have a crush on Sean Saxon.
His career is insane. Like, he's in Italian giallo movies. He's in A Nightmare on Elm Street. He's in Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. He was like I didn't mention him during our a character actor episode, but he's a great character actor. And I love the authority he brings to this movie.
I know. He's great. He's like the only one who'll help.
Yeah. This movie is along with What a Stranger Calls and in some way Scream.
I wanted to talk about that too, because Bill was like, wow, this has a lot of Scream in it.
Yeah. It's working off of the urban legend of the babysitter and the killers calling from inside the house, which I first read in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, a version of it. This movie, we'll get to it when we get to it, but this movie has I think a wild ending.
It has a really wild ending.
Yeah.
So what happened? So I watched the movie, and then today I listened to the Ruined episode about it.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
So there is one, and it's great. And so this podcast Ruined. Hallie Kiefer is a big horror fan. Allison Libby cannot watch horror movies, and they're both comedians and comedy writers, and so it's very funny. But they go over the plot of the movie like beat by beat. And they have a lot of commentary on it. And I found that was really, really great also. Yeah. But I don't want to repeat too much of their commentary because it is so funny. And, you can go listen to that podcast to hear it. But just it's really, really good. And totally deserves all of its flowers now that it's post its release getting a cult following.
Yeah. It's playing at the Alamo. I have tickets already. It's playing at the Alamo.
Are they doing a
Friday
movie party
13th.
or just that's kind of fun. A Friday the 13th in December to do Black Christmas.
Also, like after Halloween, you have Friday the 13th, and then Valentine's Day, Bloody Valentine, prom night. Like this is this also
horror.
starts the idea of like a holiday themed.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't even call it a slasher because it's like not a thing yet. It's amazing how much of a progenitor it is to shit that comes later. But then also you've got a final girl that's nothing like the weak final girls of the future. She's so self-possessed, so strong.
Yes. And also it is turns all of the so at the time that it is it's so early in the canon that the tropes haven't even been developed yet. And while they are developing the tropes in this movie, like the call is coming from inside the house, all the getting picked off one by one, they're also turning them all on their head. The virgin dies first.
Yes.
The final girl is a pregnant woman.
Yeah. And it's so brilliant.
Yeah.
The main character is played by Olivia Hussey. Her name is Jess.
Yeah.
She is famous for being
Zeffirelli's Juliet,
and she's been trying to sue I think Warner Brothers for years now, her and Romeo, because they're underage and they're shown nude.
And they're shown nude, yeah.
And it just got thrown out again. But she's amazing because where is she from? She's Argentinian, or her mother's Argentinian, but she was raised in her father's Argentinian. Her mother's English, and she was raised in England, but she has a very distinct accent that's sort of part Argentinian,
she
part
sounds
English.
British, but she's not supposed to be. And so it's like she's struggling with that a bit.
Yeah.
She sounds very classy. And she is. She's just a classy feminist in this movie.
Yeah.
She is just...
She never wavers.
So beautiful, so put together.
You'd think this was made today. The fact that she never wavers.
Clear as a bell. Like, she knows exactly what she wants.
When her boyfriend's like, we should get married, she's like, no.
I don't want to marry you. And she's like, just because you gave up on your dreams doesn't mean I have to give up on mine. She's great.
She doesn't even like mince words and go like, I'm going to get it taken care of. She's like, I'm going to get an abortion.
She's like, I don't want to have this baby.
It's not going to happen. I'm
going to abort it.
As of
1973, Roe v. Wade was passed or won in the Supreme Court, and this was made in 1974.
Yeah,
so this is brand new, and
it's a Canadian movie.
Oh, that's true, but she has the right to choose.
Yeah,
and she's chosen, and I love that for her. And I weep for that now.
Yeah. The movie also has. Well, that's another thing. I was thinking about this recently, which is for like many years, people have been like, do we need a movie like Traffic that tells us racism is bad? Or do we need like people like all these like what seemed at the time easy Hollywood liberal movies like Green Book? But now that fascism is totally fashionable again, and the right to choose has been taken away, at least federally, it makes me think we were all wrong about all that stuff. Maybe we should have kept beating those drums because I guess it wasn't over. I guess we still need to have movies where we teach people Nazis are bad. You're not supposed to be them. Anyway.
That's a hot take now. That's a hot take.
I know. If this exact movie came out now, people are like, this is woke bullshit. Go woke, go broke.
Well, in 2006, they made the remake, and people protested, like, how could we have such a disgusting horror movie about a religious holiday? And it's like, girl, no one was doing this in the 70s. So they were just being like, whatever, it's cool.
Yeah.
We're not babies like we are now.
We're not babies. This has been remade twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One had Andrea Martin in it as the
Mrs. Mac?
Yes, yeah.
Love.
Basically. Although I don't think they made much of a splash, those other two.
Okay. So great title card, beautiful title card font.
This movie's cozy.
It's cozy as hell.
This is a cozy slasher
Christmas
movie.
Lights everywhere.
The sorority house is beautiful.
Beautiful house. It's like a brick, almost like a Victorian style, but it's brick. I don't know if that's Tudor. I'm like not good enough at architecture, but I love the house.
The opening shot is the house at night with Christmas lights.
Snow.
It's cozy and
Silent
beautiful, but
Night
also a
is
little
playing.
Mysterious.
Yes.
And the last shot is also the same shot, but the last shot is brilliant.
Yeah. So
we see POV of someone outside the house with heavy breathing. This is the killer.
And it's also like that It's a Wonderful Life thing where like you're outside on the street, on the snowy cold street, and you hear like a lot of like merriment and holiday party happening and clinking glasses and people singing, and like you can see it from the outside.
Yes.
And this person, his heavy breather,
climbs up
a trellis.
Yeah.
He goes up to the front door and then turns.
Yeah.
And then goes up a trellis, which he knew was there.
Or goes into the attic.
And goes to the attic, which is unlocked, of course.
Yeah.
And we immediately meet, I think we meet Barb, right? Before we meet anybody else.
Barb.
Iconic. She is.
Margot Kidder as Barb. And from what I've read, she's basically Barb on the set. She is Barb.
Amazing.
She was like, if I'm drinking in a scene, I have to really be drinking. She's drinking in every scene. She's
wonderful.
Drunk through the whole production.
Because it's too good, right? Of a drunk act. Like she really is playing it. I was like, I told Belle, I was like, this is Lucille Bluth in college.
Yes.
I'm like, this is what she was like. She's mean,
she's so
but
bawdy,
we love
so
her.
mean.
Like she's constantly with the one-liners. She's like telling people.
Oh my God. I wrote down so many of her lines.
Oh God.
She's so funny. Andrea Martin is Phil. Short for Phyllis. We get our first obscene phone call in the house.
Yes, during the holiday party.
Yeah.
Olivia Hussey answers. She's like, it's the moaner again.
Did you watch it with captions?
Yes.
Without captions, I don't think I'd be able to make out all this stuff.
No, me neither.
The killer's saying a lot of really interesting shit.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And
which is kind of never explained.
Well, it shouldn't be because, all right, so one of the things they talked about in the Ruined episode is basically like in the 2006 remake, they give the killer like this whole backstory. No. And that's the wrong move. This movie was extremely smart in knowing that the mystery makes it scarier.
Yes.
The fact that we will never know what any of this means is terrifying. And
we
that
don't know
the
what
audience
happens at the end
is
either.
Smart enough to kind of put their own narrative together. Like Bill and I, without any knowledge of what was going on, kind of pieced together what we thought the story was. And then we went to the 2006 version and like read the backstory, and it kind of all fit, except it was way weirder and like unnecessary. Yeah. But we could get into that in a little bit when we talk about like who we think Billy is. But it's just bizarre. And so it starts as like a true obscene phone call, right? Where it's like, I want to lick it. I want to let me lick it.
Let me stick my tongue in it, lick it. You pig cunt.
Piggy.
Let me lick your pretty piggy cunt.
Yeah.
I'll lick your pretty pig clit. I'm like a tuna farmer, baby.
Well, I don't know what that. Yeah, no idea. What?
Suck My Juicy Cock.
Mhm.
This is the beginning of this
Is it
holiday
right in the
movie.
Merry Christmas.
I'm gonna come over and you could suck it. And then there's a pause and he goes, I'm gonna kill you.
That's to Barb.
Yes.
So Barb picks up the phone and is like, why don't you call Lambda Chi? They could use some of this. And she's like cursing him out. And then he drops
Barb is quick with a joke and to light up your smoke.
She really is. And she
has some problem with her parents. She calls her mother, and I guess her mother's like going away with her boyfriend, and she's like, fuck this or whatever.
Yeah, no, she goes, you're a real gold-plated whore, Mom. Yeah. Love it. But anyway,
this is a sorority house.
He drops it and he goes, I'm gonna kill you.
Lines. Yes.
Jet's chilling.
Yes.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's openly drinking, like with like a decanted bottle of scotch.
Yeah.
And she's just walking around with, but she's pouring it into a glass. Like, she can't drink it straight from the bottle.
Of course.
But she would if she could.
Miss Mac has no problem drinking from the bottle.
No, but it's funny because Miss Mac is sneaking her drinks.
Like, she's a true alcoholic.
Yeah, and she's drinking sherry. Sherry.
Like the weird, like, alcoholic thing of like hiding it places.
Yeah, like so
that's probably the most dated part of it, because you would never play it so funny
that she has a problem. Alcoholism. Yeah, so I guess she's like the house mother, and she has to be sort of like, because I'm like, why isn't she drinking openly? Barb is, right. But I guess it's because she has to have her act together to like watch these girls, or at least seem like she has her act together. Yeah. But she's like a mess. She's got a pillbox hat on. Yeah. Oh, she's great. She said, I wrote down, these broads would hump the Leaning Tower of Pisa if they could get up there.
Yeah, incredible. And by the way, the director, who's also famous, his third most famous movie would be Porky's, which I actually have never seen, I'll be honest with you.
Me neither.
But from what I understand, I think it has a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
He wanted no nudity in this.
Okay.
He really was like,
this is a Christmas film.
Yeah.
No,
he was really like, these women are not going to be exploited, which is amazing, because that's not even a thing until later on.
Yeah.
But he's already thinking
they're college women.
Yeah.
They're smart. They're feminists.
Self-possessed.
They
talk a lot about sex, but you don't really see them doing it.
No.
You see them doing public service, like having kids come see Santa.
Yeah, they have
they're drinking and cursing in front of the children,
they are.
But that's okay.
Isn't Santa naughty? I love that, Barb.
Barb is...
They are people. They are fully rounded people. Yeah. They have sex. They do drink. They go out. But they do... Like you say, they do service for the community. They are in school. They have goals.
Yeah.
Like, they are real people. And it's fully fleshed out. And the house really feels like a 70s sorority house.
So let's talk about Bob Clark. I think, and I've only seen this in A Christmas Story, what I think both these films have in common is a real eye towards production design and detail and texture. I'd say both these movies have such texture.
Yeah.
In this, I'd say it's 70s or 60s into 70s, like the way the house looks, and the carpet and the drinks and the clothes and the hair and everything and the phone, just such texture. And then I think in Christmas Story, the 50s, he gets the 50s down very well. Or 40s.
40s is the 40s,
yeah. And there's just great cinematography. There's great again, this is cozy. I think cinematography could be cozy. There's such great cozy shots. I mean, I really love when
they feel real, like they feel fully fleshed out. And sorry, it just reminded me of in A Christmas Story, the last we watched it recently, and on Christmas Day, they're like, all the presents have been opened and the parents are drinking wine. I'm like, are they drinking wine in the morning? I'm like, good for them. But but then Bill was like, no, the turkey's done. They're just in their pajamas all day. Like, I love that they never got dressed, because it's like they're just home. Like, why are they getting dressed?
It's really. So, I mean,
it's just details like that where it's like he gets what real families are like. He gets what like these college kids were like,
Right. There's a scene later on where we see the first girl who dies, Claire. We see her like room in the house, and she's got this, which I found out later is a famous poster from the time, of like an old lady in a
giving the finger. Yeah.
And
then she's got the naked hippies.
Yeah, like it feels like this is like a real like kind of dorm kind of room, and it says something about the girl, and it also says something about the generational difference that's happening.
Yes, because so she's considered like sort of the the goody two shoes in the
Right.
house because
And
she's
Barb
the
kind of like
virgin.
picks on her.
But even so, like she has this sort of like subversive edge to her.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that whole scene where her dad comes to the house because
Yeah.
she's missed their appointment, so now he's looking for her. And Miss Mac is like notices the poster with
Yeah.
the butt of the hippie and is like trying to cover it with her
Yeah.
hand so he doesn't see it. I love that gag.
The dad is so weird. Well, this movie does set up a lot of red herrings.
Oh, like he's the weirdo killer.
Yeah, I think he's one of the red herrings. Obviously, the biggest one is Peter, the boyfriend.
Yeah, who sucks.
Who sucks.
Oh, he sucks. We hate him.
But I think, but it's interesting. The father, and he spends a lot of scenes with Miss Mac, who's like over the top. They're both over the top in different ways. He's over the top like a weird button-up guy, but you also feel for him.
Yeah, you do. Like he
she's
obviously
over the
cares.
top is like this crazy drunk.
Yeah.
Imagine like Miss Garrett from Facts of Life, but like a true alcoholic hornball.
She's like Miss Hannigan.
Yes.
In college, right? Like
Yes.
she's got it, but she likes the girls, right? The girls have grown up. They've grown on her. Like when she meets the dad and she's like, I'll go look, we could go look together. She goes into the other room. She's like, I can't be in charge of the morals of all these girls. Like
that's what she says, the Leaning Tower of Pisa thing. Which again is funny and it shows. I think there's something really subversive about this movie. There's something very like anti-establishment about it.
Yeah, yeah. And that this is the norm. Like this is how it is.
I wanted to say the first piece of cinematography that really got me was when they're listening to the phone call. There's just close-ups of every girl as they're around, and the camera pans. It's close-up composition from one face to another, but it's panning to each girl, and you're sort of having them introduced and how they're reacting to the call. And Claire's like, I'm gonna go up to my room or whatever. She and Barb like
they have an argument.
Yeah, Barb's kind of a dick to her.
Yeah,
she barbs her, and everyone's kind of like. You can tell, like, everyone kind of loves Barb, but also, like, she could be a bit too much when she's hitting the sauce.
Yeah. And she's mean.
She could be very mean, yeah. Although, I think after Claire is gone, missing, I think Barb is fully just feeling very guilty.
Yeah, she's self-loathing at that point. I think that's why she's as drunk as she is.
Right.
Like, she's never sobering up at that point. She's just, like, she feels too
she's
bad.
like, this is my fault.
Yeah.
But then she's asthmatic later, and I was like, "Wow, what interesting vulnerability to have her." Like, this is so good. And she has a glass menagerie in her room for some reason.
Oh, that was one of the ruined things. They were like, "Can we bring back collections of glass animals?
Yes.
Maybe not a unicorn, but
you will be killed with
you
it.
will. But round animals. Let's all have a collection of glass animals."
Yeah.
And that used to be a thing. I remember my mom had a couple.
Yeah. So the first kill, Claire goes into her room and she goes into the closet, and the killer is like behind her dry cleaning or whatever.
Yeah,
like you
empty dry cleaning bags.
Yeah, like
which
the
on its
plastic
own
bags.
is kind of spooky because it looks like ghosts or something.
And he chokes her with it, and and that's the crazy thing. No one ever finds it. Even in the end, no one ever finds it. And she's always there in the window. If you look up.
We see her so much throughout the movie. They just keep going back to her face frozen in death.
Yeah.
Completely like clear.
She's trying to breathe, so like you see the plastics in her mouth.
Yeah.
It's so
which the actress who played Claire said that she was and still is a very good swimmer, so she could hold her breath for a really long time. So they would just shoot her like that, and she would just stay there for a while, and she would just hold it.
That's awesome.
So, no movie magic. She's just doing her thing, which I love. And she's in the window. She's visible in the window.
Yeah.
He dragged her up to the attic. So her suitcase is there, but she's not.
Right.
So I don't know where she is. And it's one of those attics where it's like, it's not like a staircase. It's a ladder, and you have to like move the piece of wood out of the way to get up there. So no one's really going up there.
And the killer puts her in a rocking chair.
Yeah.
Which he'll rock.
And eventually he will give her a baby doll as well.
Yeah. He's singing a little song, Little Baby Bunny, Daddy's going to hunting.
Yeah.
Gonna fetch a rabbit skin to wrap his baby Agnes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the close up of Claire's like dead head dissolves into an image of the clock, and then we meet her dad, who's like supposed to meet her, but he's like she's not around and he's concerned. Then it's him in the dorm room talking to Miss Mac, and he sees his daughter's got these weird posters. It's like, I didn't send my daughter to school to hook up with boys and go drinking.
Yeah. And it is that thing of like when your parents, I don't know. So I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I dormed my first semester and I went to Hunter, so I was local, but I remember my parents came to visit the dorm just like one time, and it was like a month into college.
Yeah.
And I didn't even buy I couldn't buy them. I was not old enough, but like one of my school friends as like a college present gave me like 2 handles of liquor that I had in my like little room freezer. And my dad, which you know this about him, is like a total like lunatic nut job snoop. So he was like literally going through my room like he was casing the joint and just opened the freezer, like opened the fridge, didn't see anything, opened the freezer, pulled out both handles and just left with them. And I was like, great, thanks so much for that. I'm an adult. But it's like, it's your childhood butting up against your adulthood.
Yes.
You know,
right.
And it really causes a lot of tension because the parents are like, I didn't think my kid was like this.
Right.
And then realizing, well, they're not my kid in the sense that they're a child anymore. Like they're an adult.
Right. Right. And she's the virgin, right? Like, I mean, Barb says, I know a virgin when I see one.
Yeah.
But like you said, she dies first.
Yeah.
But what we see here is she's not like this sort of stereotype of a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
She's
got a boyfriend.
Yeah, she has a boyfriend.
Who's a very
Chris.
good boyfriend.
He has an incredible coat.
Oh, wonderful coat.
There's great coat work in this whole movie.
I want to talk about Chris for a second at the end.
Yes.
Because he features into the original ending.
Yes, I read that.
Yeah, which is very interesting because I would never have pegged him in a million years. But, you know, that's another Scream thing. But,
yes.
Yeah, but in any event,
yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So Chris, she has a boyfriend named Chris who seems to care about her an awful lot. He's the only one who takes things seriously when she goes missing.
There's a great shot where they're going to look for Claire, and you see Miss Mac and Claire's dad, Mr. Harrison, getting into a car, and then the camera zooms out, and it's through the attic window, and you see it framed by her dead head.
Yeah,
like as if she's watching all of this happening.
She's watching it like she has no power, and she's watching it happen.
She's watching all these people scramble around. And none of them are.
I'm right here.
Except for Miss Mac once goes up there and then she dies.
Because of freaking Claude the cat.
That's a crazy image too when the cat's like nipping at her dead body.
The cat's kind of like climbing on pawing at the plastic.
Not a lot
wrap.
of deaths in this movie. 2, right? I think that's it.
4. 5 if you count the little girl. Oh, this cop 6.
Oh yeah,
he's
just sort of dead.
Yeah, so it's Phil, Barb,
we don't
Mrs.
really
Mac, and but kills
you don't
on
really
screen.
See Phil. Yeah, it's just 2.
No, it's 3.
3.
It's Mrs. Mac, Barb, and Claire.
Right. But even that they don't go. Then it's not super graphic.
It's not super graphic, no. And that's why I think it's a good one if you're not into like. If you can't handle gore, really, like this is, you could probably handle this movie. It's not really big on jump scares. You kind of know it's coming.
Yeah, there's no real jump scares.
It's just a good movie. Yeah. It's solid.
We meet Peter. Jess goes to her boyfriend. Peter wasn't at the party for some reason. He's in a conservatory. Mm-hmm. He wants to be a concert pianist.
And this is a guy.
He's played by Dave from 2001.
Space Odyssey, yeah.
Way too old.
Yeah, he looks 40 if he's a day.
And he is a gaslighter. He's emotionally abusive.
Yes.
But she's also not having it.
No, but also, and they bring this up in the Ruined episode, they're like, if you were not going away for the holidays and you know he has got this big audition today, talk to him after the audition.
Yeah, she did fuck it up.
She did really kind of set that off because now he's extremely distraught by the news that she's going to have an abortion, but
nothing he says changes her mind.
Not
even a little bit.
No,
she is. I'm doing this.
Yeah, this is my decision.
And he goes to all the arguments like it's a little baby. You're going to kill our little baby, and she's like, no, I'm doing this. You don't have a say in what I'm doing. Yeah.
And he threatens her. He's like, "You're gonna be sorry." He gets
super crazy. Yeah, he gets nuts. Crazy. The scene of him in his audition, like freaking out and like sweating, is incredible.
It's great. At that point, I was like, "We're sitting on the couch." I'm like, "Eat it, Peter. You suck."
She says, "I'm not going to change my mind," and he says, "We'll see." So he's the biggest red herring.
Yes.
To the point where she kills him.
Well, she thought we all did, right?
Yeah.
That's an insane thing that he did at the end. Why are you breaking the glass in the basement?
I mean, it's good that he's
How'd
dead.
you even know that she was in there?
there's like I see. I have this. As I was watching today, I was like working out this theory. Like the house is like a woman's body, and it's about control. Like, and the killer being in the attic and calling from inside is like, I'm controlling you from inside. But also, the killer uses a phone, which is a medium, and the piano is a medium. This movie is like, it's about like men trying to control female bodies. And he does.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of it in terms of like the telephone operator guy as well. Like he's trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Like figuring out where the call is coming from.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's trying to find the clit.
Yes.
He really can't. He's trying to figure this out.
That whole setting of the phone company was fascinating.
That was wild.
And so cool. You've never seen them actually physically like follow a wire.
Call, yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. What's interesting is typically in these types of stories, it's a surprise that the killer's calling from inside, but it's not for us. We know that the killer's there.
They don't know it.
They don't know it.
And that's the other thing too. It's like this whole time, like from kill one,
he's
we know
there.
something is happening,
and there's shadows.
They
like,
don't know at all.
There's scenes where you see shadows in the background.
Yes.
Like he's around.
He's haunting and hunting in this house, and It's
which is such an invasion.
It's so chilling. It is extremely freaky. Someone's there the whole time, and what are you gonna do about it? You don't know.
Yeah.
They're just going about their lives.
Yeah.
Yes. So now it's sort of mounting this search for Claire because now they're
which
really
is, by the way,
worried.
it's less than 24 hours, and they've got a whole search party out.
Well, Mr. Harrison goes to the police station along with Chris, her boyfriend.
And Barb.
And we haven't even talked to about Nash yet.
Oh, fucking Nash.
So Sergeant Nash, who's the desk sergeant, he sits at the front and, I don't know that they ever have a case because Nash won't let him through the front door.
He is so condescending.
Yeah, he's like, she's probably shacked up with a boyfriend somewhere.
It's just someone playing a prank on you.
Oh, yeah. It's probably a boyfriend having a little fun.
Yeah.
So then Chris, her boyfriend, comes in and is like, Nash, you prick.
Yeah.
And calls Lieutenant, what's his face? John Saxon's character.
Fuller.
Calls him Ken. He's like, Ken, thanks so much,
he knows
buddy.
him.
Yeah,
There's a
they're like
relationship
friends
there.
or something.
I do like that the other cops at least make fun of Nash.
Nash. They're like, Nash, if you
laugh at
fuck
him
this up,
behind his
I will
back.
kill you.
And he does.
And he really
he
does.
fucks everything up.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the Ruined episode, they say when he calls at the end to tell her the killer is inside the house, she picks up the phone and goes, who is this? She's like, what an insane question. Yeah. Who is this?
And your fucking Fuller just said, just tell her to leave the house. Do not tell her that the killer's inside.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing I'm telling you to do. Don't blow this.
Don't do it.
And he blows it immediately.
Immediately fucks it up. So it also is feminist in that sense of like, saying like,
the police won't listen to you. The doctors won't listen to you. People won't listen to you.
They will not listen to you. If
you're
going to
be
in trouble.
You're going to be infantilized.
If you are a 13-year-old girl who is a child in trouble, the police won't help you.
Yes.
So, but we see the lieutenant is taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Like when they go to report Claire missing, he is interviewing the mother of a little girl who has gone missing. Now, I want to discuss this with you and what your theory is about this. So, a little girl went missing that day.
Yeah. Is it related?
I think so.
Well, it's so hard because we don't know who the
I
killer
want
is
to
or what their
discuss
motives
about
really
the
are.
headcanon too. Like, what is your headcanon of this? Because in mine, he killed her on the way to the house.
Okay.
Like we know he was out of the house. Like he doesn't live there full time. Like he got there that day.
Right.
I feel like on his way, he killed this girl.
That's really interesting. I don't know if I think it's brilliant that we don't see her. Even when she's found, we don't see her. But she's talked about a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's important.
And even after she's found, they're like, a little girl was killed in the park today.
Right. The age difference, I think, is getting me.
Well, one thing that I noticed that this movie does too, which I think is so smart, is when the mother is in the police station and she's just a missing girl, they treat her like an older teen, like that ran off with her friends. And then the second she's dead, she's a little girl.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This movie's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. In this time, are we getting the calls still?
I've written down every call and what's said.
Okay.
Because
we're up to forget like how many I feel like we get a break from the calls.
Yeah.
But then the calls are begin again,
right now,
they're genuinely chilling.
Well, we missed Barb telling Nash that
the
all right,
exchange.
Kids back in the day.
I mean, I don't remember this.
There was a time where phone numbers had a 2-letter. That's why letters were on the old phones. Like a 2-letter beginning. So you would say like Klondike 7292.
I don't understand it.
She says
that would be like KL,
Yeah.
right? Like you do KL and then
right. She says the house. Barb drunk in the day tells Nash the house number is Fellatio 20880.
Yeah.
And he does not get it.
No.
And she says no, it's a new one. It's FE.
FE.
You're right.
And he's like, can you spell it? And she's like, sure. Then she spells it and she's like waiting for the joke to land and it never lands and she's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
So long.
We all right. So we're up to Claire's dad is at the house eating dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Phil is there. Fucking Barb is lounging on the couch looking at a Playboy.
That was a Playboy, wasn't it?
Just an open centerfold.
Yeah.
She's drunk. She comes up and she's like, "Do you know there's a type of turtle that could screw for 3 days straight?"
Apropos of nothing.
And he's just looking at her like, what is happening? He's so disturbed by her. And then she starts lashing out like, you all think it's my fault. Yeah. And fucking Phil is like, you are drunk. Please go away.
Not unkindly.
No.
She says firmly, though, like, Barb, go to bed. You're drunk.
Yeah.
And she does.
She also says, do you know there's this... I went to the zoo and I didn't watch them for 3 days. I went to the zebras. They take only 30 seconds. Premature ejaculation. Which, to me, this is also self-possessed. Like, to make fun of a guy for coming too fast.
Yeah.
Because she says, like, 3 days, I could barely get 3 minutes. Like, they're grown-up women, which is so interesting because you'd think you would look at something like this and think, oh, this is the contemporary, more woke version of that. But this is one of the beginnings of the genre goes downhill
stuff
from
that we
here.
would never hear say.
Right.
And
all the girls are there to get, in Friday the 13th movies, girls are there to be hot, be naked, show their boobs, and get killed in stupid ways. These are all like young women who are smart and like have career goals and want to control their own bodies.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Barb is an icon of alcoholism.
We see Peter destroying his piano. Doesn't seem like something you should do.
No. Bill was like, no, it's a Steinway.
Let's see. So Miss Mac is she's going out for some reason. She's calling her cat Claude, and Claude is upstairs in the attic. She climbs up, and he's got like the killer's got like I guess like a winch or like a hook on a rope.
It looks like a hook, like a pulley.
Yeah,
you know,
and
which wouldn't kill you.
Hits
like
her
that.
in the face.
I told Bill, I was like, you'd get hit with that and be like, "Ow, what the hell?" Like,
I think
it would not hit you.
I think it could kill you by knocking you out. And maybe
if it got you, if it had like a direct
it's not gonna go through your head like it does.
It went right through her head,
right.
like, and she was pulled up by it too. So
right.
it's the world's most. It's like vibranium, like it just went right through her.
Right. The search party finds the body of a little girl. We just see the mother's face as they find it.
Oh, Janice, and she's screaming, "Janice, Janice!" Oh, yeah.
We see the killer in the attic freaking out. Like
he's losing.
Yeah.
He is mentally unstable, obviously, and he is not an organized killer. You know, this is not a mastermind.
No.
This is like a wild animal.
Yes.
Like he is absolutely deranged and crazy, which is even scarier because you have this problem right up in the attic.
We have another phone call, and this is where something starts to happen that I don't know my interpretation of it.
Do we start to get the story here? Of a story here?
Kind of, but what I'm getting at is the killer using different voices.
Mm-hmm.
And it, to me, it sounds like they're overlapping.
Kind of, right?
So part of me is like, is it a group of people? No, that can't be.
No.
Is it magical? And is there supernatural? Like the way that they're overlapping is so uneasy because you feel like how can you can't flip to different voices that quickly.
Well, the actor who does the voice, I don't know if he's also the physical actor for Billy. I'm not sure. You never fully see him.
It's different people. Sometimes it's the director.
Really?
Sometimes it's the one you see the person's eye. It's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
He has like the brown eye that's almost like red looking.
Yeah, it looks red.
When it's
yeah.
hands, I think it's often the director.
Okay.
And then it's someone else doing the voice.
So I think it's Neil Mancuso doing the voice.
Who also overdubs some of Peter's lines to lead you to think it's Peter.
Wow, that's so smart. He auditioned apparently in the room for the director and was being asked to do different voices at the same time to see if he could do it. So I think he is doing a lot of them, and maybe they just like overlap them intentionally, but he can do a lot of that on his own.
In this,
they're genuinely chilling.
In this phone call, you hear a baby crying, and then, "Oh, help me, please stop. Filthy Billy. I know what you did, Billy." Let's get into it. Who's Billy? Who's Agnes?
Where'd you put Agnes?
Who's
Billy?
this family?
Where'd you put the baby?
What happened?
We need to know where you put the baby.
What do you think happened?
Okay. All right. I'm going to lay it all out on what we think based on what has been said, because I'm not going to go call by call, but we can. But the information that he says in regards to this Billy and Agnes thing is he is Billy.
Yeah. We
are hearing the voice of like what I assume is his mother. Where did you put the baby? Where did you put Agnes? Agnes being the baby, right?
Okay.
What did you do to Agnes? Where did you put the baby? We need to know where you put the baby. And then the mother also says at one point, who I guess referring to the father, you left Billy alone with Agnes. What did he do? Where is the baby? And then Billy says like, don't tell her what we did, Agnes. Don't tell her what we did. So to me, the narrative that is being presented in the phone call is that Billy molested, sexually assaulted, and possibly killed his little sister Agnes.
Okay.
That Bill and I both believe that this sorority house was his family home.
Okay.
Which is why he knows sort of the ins and outs.
Interesting.
And is at least familiar with the house.
Interesting.
And kind of also why there's like a rocking horse in the attic and like
there's shit up
remnants
there.
of a family in that house.
Yeah.
And Bill and I both are, and this also feeds into how it's influenced Halloween, that he has escaped from a mental asylum and has come back home, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, oh, he probably killed the girl on the way home. Like and then went there.
That's very backward thinking from what we know happens at Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's coloring the interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now, we do get this crazy backstory in 2006, which we can talk about.
Is it the same one?
A lot of the details are the same. He did used to live in that house.
Yeah.
He did escape from a mental asylum. He did not kill his sister, but did attack her.
Okay.
But I think that some like sex assault or molestation is definitely implied. Like, don't tell her what we did. Right? Like he's roping her in on it in some way. But I don't like that she's being referred to as the baby because I'm like, how young were they all?
What's
like,
he doing? Yeah. You know what I was thinking about this time? And I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but I was like, is it two callers? Is the first caller not the person who then is the killer? Because the first call, he's talking directly to the person on the phone. He's saying, I want to lick your cunt.
Right.
He's saying dirty things like he's a dirty guy calling and jerking off. And then he says, I'm going to kill you, which is like, and then after that, the calls are all this weird narrative of talking to yourself. It's nothing like earlier on when he's,
although he does say piggy again.
He does, which would make you think it is the same. Right. That's what I was like. I question myself.
Yeah.
But it is weird that it changes.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't even sound, I mean, he sounds like a total perv, but he doesn't sound crazy. Like he's a maniac later on. Early on, he sounds like a guy who's calling girls to fucking like hear a girl get scared on the phone while he jerks off.
Yeah.
And that, like makes him come.
This is there's a lot of serial killer stuff in this movie, like that reflects a lot of things that were really happening in the 70s.
Yes, yeah.
But most of all, and this happened before this actually happened in real life, Ted Bundy attacked a sorority house and killed a bunch of women.
Really?
Yes, famously. And to the point where they did they were going to broadcast, which I think is nuts. They were going to broadcast this movie on television, and they couldn't do it, or were asked. Yeah. I think the governor of Florida called and was like, "Please don't broadcast it because of what just happened at Tallahassee." Because basically the story played out in real life, and it was Ted Bundy. which is wild. I'm like, did he see this? Like, it came out 4 years before he had. I'm like, was this inspirational to him in some way? It's crazy.
We have this sort of like fake scare where we think the killer's approaching Jess, but it's Peter. He's in the house.
Yes, there's a couple of fake outs like that.
This is a very this is another great scene, but it shows how crazy he's going.
Yes.
This is when he's like, I know what we're gonna do. He doesn't ask her. He tells her we're gonna get married, and she's like, no. She says, Peter, I don't want to marry you. She's so clear in her communication. Yeah. He's like, you're a selfish bitch. Talking about her. He's like, you're talking about killing our baby as though you were having a wart removed, which the killer says later.
Yes.
But I think he just hears it.
I think he hears it too. Yeah.
He says, let's get one thing straight. You're not going to abort that baby. And then, which is very scary and intimidating. But then she turns around and goes, Peter, you're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do. Incredible stuff.
He's also a fake.
They're red herring him so hard at this point.
Yeah, because you see him outside the house. There's like a dark figure, and then the music is ominous. But then Mrs. Mack gets killed in the attic in the next scene, and it's like he couldn't have gotten up there. Like, this is somebody different. Yeah, and then it ends up being Peter. I guess it's not clear that it is Peter, because if it is, then he's been hanging out outside the house before, like, for a while before coming to me.
He's lost his mind. He's being very crazy. And in the end,
we can hold two truths. Like, there is a killer in the house, and he is a crazy boyfriend. Bill was saying, like, he's a dangerous person, and there's another dangerous person.
Yes. In the end, when she's in, and I'm not trying to jump ahead, but in the end, when she's in the basement and she's like running from the killer, and then he breaks in. As I was watching it today, and I knew the ending, I couldn't tell when it went from one to the other. Yeah, like, someone's banging on the door of the basement. That's got to be the killer. But then you see someone like lurking in the. You could see their silhouette in the windows, and then Peter comes in. It's like, was that all Peter, or was it? Like, when does one become the other?
How did he know she was even down there unless he'd been standing outside the house the whole time? Which also, like, in that case, can't you hear her screaming?
Right.
Like, she was screaming for Phil and Barb, like, at the top of her lungs.
We see this, we have the scene where the cops are laughing at Nash because of the fellatio joke. And he's like, oh, that's something dirty, isn't it?
He's like, I'll figure it out. It's like, well, yeah, sure you will. There's this great... sorry. Go on about Nash, because I just wanted to talk about, like, how he cuts between things.
They're cutting back and forth between, I guess, the cops dealing with Nash, and then back to Peter. Like, it cuts back to Peter, and he breaks a like ornament off the tree, and that's what he says, "You're a selfish bitch." It's amazing because he's totally, whether they meant to or not, doing the abuser's like playbook. Like, I'm going to appeal to you in a vulnerable way and be like, please don't do it. And then I'm going to get angry. I'm going to break something and threaten you physically. I'm going to be crazy at one point, and then more self together. Like, he's going through all of, and because she's just so steadfast and
it's like, no, like, not going to fall for your tricks.
And not giving him an inch at all. He's like, I'm going
to
try all these
having
different
a tantrum,
things.
right?
He's having a tantrum.
And he can't win. So he leaves in a tizzy. But then it's like, at that point, does he cross into being a physically dangerous person for her? Because I believe he does. Yes. I don't think he is there with good intentions.
Yes.
All the lights on my street are going out. I'm so sorry. Look outside. All those lights just went out.
What is happening?
They're just systematically going out. Are we about to have a blackout? Oh.
A blackout? Today? In the cold?
I know.
I don't remember. There's never been a cold blackout.
Too many people just running their dryers. You know.
Sure.
In any event, there'll be something scary happening when you're
Wouldn't it be great if we were murdered at the end of this episode?
That would be. Hey. It almost happened.
Werner Herzog would turn this into a movie.
It almost happened once.
Yes. No, he was just a guy coming in the wrong house.
Well, we thought it was a murder. Yeah. You know, that was a real Peter type fake out. We thought he was the murderer, but in fact, he was just a random man. Yeah, no, I don't think he's there with good intentions at the end, and I think she's right to hide from him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad she took him out. He
Yeah,
wasn't helping anybody.
I'm not sad that he's dead.
But there is that weird moment, and you know,
but it's
I
interesting.
think the killer actually went back up into the attic at that moment.
Yes.
I think he retreated up.
Her killing Peter is interesting because it allows the cops to go, well, it's all tied up in a nice
Solved.
little bow.
We solved it, gang.
Yeah. We're done thinking about this.
Okay, so sorry, just to go back, there's a few times when they cut between things.
Yes.
So cool.
Great editing, yeah.
Really great editing. One of them that really floored me was when they find the girl in the park.
Yeah.
And the mother, who's been screaming like, Janice, she sees the body of her child, which we don't see. And we see that she's screaming, but instead of the scream, we're hearing the phone ring. And and then it cuts to the phone ringing in the house, which I'm like, which makes me think he did it because he's responsible for the phone. So I'm like, I don't know.
Interesting. What about the juxtaposition of the kids
caroling and
Barb being
killed?
So brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you don't need that. Like the kids being caroling is just a very sweet like moment that just like adds a great texture, and then like you're going through back and Barb, and it's so good.
It's really great. That's a really wonderful.
The cops
moment.
come over to bug the phone.
Yes,
and this I don't know if this is true or not, but this is a very early instance of the whole movie. You got to keep him on the line thing.
You got to keep him on the line.
Like they make a big deal out of it.
He's very much like, you didn't keep him on long enough, Jess. I'm like, is it really her fault that the man who's obscenely calling her is not staying on the line?
At one point, she's like, "Oh shit, it's Peter." She thinks it's Peter, and she's keeping it from the cop.
Oh my god, yeah,
right. And he's like, "What did you mean when you said, oh my god?"
He's like, sounded like you recognized something.
Yeah, because then he tells
he immediately clocks Peter. He's like, "This is Peter. We know it's always the boyfriend." Like, yeah.
And he tells some underling like, "Call the dean. I want like
all the info on this guy."
Like
Peter's smile.
He goes and he finds the broken piano. And he's like, "This guy's fucking nuts."
He's nuts. Yeah,
right.
He's unhinged. I also just really like the sound design, like the clicks of the phone, like everything sounds so good.
And the score is like this very piano-y, like it's really interesting.
Well, I was reading in some of the things on like the Wikipedia page that they were touching the piano strings with brushes, like doing a lot of like experimental things to make the sounds, which, you know, this is 70s, man.
I've read on IMDb that it was very influenced by the soundtrack of Qui-Gon, which you can listen to the Qui-Gon episode of PCMC. It just happened not that long ago. I love the cop in the phone, the canyons of like machinery and wires, and he's at one point he's wearing like protective goggles. Like, what is the phone company? It's so interesting.
It really is. Okay, so what's the death count so far? Oh, the Barb kill is also a fake out because she's at the so Jess is in the house.
Yes,
and
we see the POV of the killer coming into Barb's room.
And then we hear gasping noises. So we think she's being killed, but in fact she's having this asthma attack.
Right.
And Jess knows how to help her, which means this has happened before.
Right.
And she's so sweet. She's like rubbing her head.
But the killer's in the room somewhere.
Yes, he is. He has to be in the room, which is so scary.
Yeah. No, it again, it's like even Barb is allowed to be vulnerable in this moment. And like she's sobered up. She slept it off, and she's clearly like,
she feels remorseful, you know. She's a sad-eyed drunk now.
Right.
She is. She had a bad dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's funny because in that moment you see like Jess will make a good mother one day if she chooses to be.
Yes.
But not now.
Right. We see Claire in the attic. She's got like a little beat up baby doll in her arms, and the killer's like rocking her in the chair.
He's just having a grand old time up there.
Let's see.
I don't know where Phil is during the asthma attack. Where is Phil?
She's in the house somewhere because she goes to check on her, and that's how she dies.
Yeah. Phil goes to sleep for a little while. She's like, I'm going to go lay down.
But this is also like when I think she sees the two guys creeping around the back from the search party. She's like, I'd rather it be the killer.
Yeah, which is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, okay, because that's right. So Phil does lay down, and I'm like, oh God, she's going to get killed. But she doesn't get killed in that moment.
No.
Then she comes back out. So I think that's where she was when Barb gets killed. And then she comes back out, and there's this great scene when Jess is telling Phil, like, I think it's Peter, or I think that was Peter. And that's a really cozy moment. They're like sitting in this dark living room. There's the fire is going. It's only lit by the Christmas lights and the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And they're having this little heart to heart.
Yeah.
You know, it's snowing outside. I'm like, gosh, this is a real cozy moment.
It so is.
But yes, these two. What's the right word for these two men? They're just like,
middle-aged men.
They're just like the town yokels or something. I don't know. They're like the two Elmer Fuds coming around.
But not to be too much of a film professor, like they don't even realize that they're menacing. Like they're not trying to be menacing, but they're not aware of the fact that creeping around like that is something you should do
with guns, right? Pointed at their faces.
Right. They don't even realize that they're menacing. You know what I mean? Like it's really
that they could scare
smart.
them. Yeah, which they do. They scare them very much. They're like, we just want to let you know what's going on in the town. It's like, don't tell us what we already know.
Right?
You
don't
two
mansplain.
idiots. You don't even know what's going on in this house. We got a killer in here.
Yeah, don't mansplain what's going on.
We got a house full of dead bodies.
But she doesn't acquiesce. She's like, get the fuck out.
She doesn't open the door fully.
Phil's like, get out of here.
She's like, we can go. Thank you, and leave. Yeah. And then that's the moment she realizes, like, this is the only door and window that's locked in this house. And that's when Phil gets killed. They're going around to like lock the windows and the doors. She's like, Barbie, okay?
But is Phil there? We get a call, and this is a call where at the police station they're also listening to it. Is Phil there for that call? Because that's the call when he says something about like having a what removed, and that's what she goes, oh my god. I think
I don't think Phil was in the room because they talk about it after.
Okay.
Because he calls the lieutenant calls her right after. Because it's a lot of phone tag. It's like she hangs up at the killer, then the lieutenant will call her, then Peter will call her, then the lieutenant will call her back and be like, what was that about?
Peter then calls her, the actual Peter, and he's like crying. He's like, don't kill the baby. And she's like, it's funny because he's like, how did they ever have a relationship? She seems so done with him.
Yeah.
But then she decides the killer isn't Peter because she's like, he was there earlier when the killer called. Which is not necessarily true, but I don't think Peter's the killer.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's just another person that they don't know. It's Billy, whoever that is.
Do you think the killer in Scream is named after him?
I do. We were discussing this. Yeah, we were like, I think it's because of the phone calls.
Yes.
It's phone calls. It's Billy. It's well, in the original ending, it was going to be the boyfriend. Yes, it's the boyfriend.
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Me too. I like
First
it.
First of all, it creates plot
better.
holes because he's not there a lot.
No.
And it's just too neat. Like it would have been an interesting one-time shock. But it just the way it ends
cheap.
is so eerie.
Which this is so much scarier.
So Phil goes to check on Barb. We see the door close behind her, so we know she's dead.
We don't see her get killed, but we know she's a goner.
We see the killer actually in the house dialing the phone. We see the killer calling from the inside.
Bill also said that there's a scene, you would know this better than I would because I've only seen Scream once, where Sydney has a fireplace poker.
I don't remember.
He was like, doesn't she also have a fireplace poker at one point? I'm like, wow, then that's really a reference for sure.
I feel like I've seen that in a lot of things.
It's either because he gets hit in the gut with it. So it's either that or it's from Sarah Michelle Gellar in part 2.
Or maybe I think that might be true.
It's a sorority house. Oh,
right,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I like that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So now it's the she stands alone. It's Jess. Everyone else has been killed, but she doesn't know that. They don't know Miss Mac is dead.
They have no idea. She's supposed to be going to her sister's.
Like she tells Phil right before they leave to go to the search party, I'm going to go to my sister's, so if you don't see me when I come back, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They're not worried about it.
No, she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when they find out the call is coming from inside the house, and Fuller's like, all right, listen, Ash, you just have to call her and just tell her, put the phone down and walk outside.
When did he kill the cop outside?
It's just at some point. Because at some point, Phil looks outside and she's like, oh, the cops are there, but she's just looking to see the car.
Right, she sees
so we don't know when. At some point, he just killed her.
Yeah.
Which that happens in Scream 2.
Yes.
And by that, I mean not Scream as well, Scream Part 2. Nash tells her
there
the call is
was a
coming
moment
from
when I
inside the
was like,
house.
did Peter kill the cop outside? But I don't think he's gone that far.
No.
I do think he is a physically threatening presence, and I
Right.
think he would have hit her or
Yes, I
hurt
think
her
so.
in some way. Or raped her. Like, I don't know.
Right.
But no, I don't think he is a killer just yet anyway.
No.
But yeah, so he's killed the cop outside. So they can't get in touch with him. And then Nash makes the call.
Fowler says, Nash, if you blow this, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Nash immediately blows it.
Yeah, he says, who is this? She's like, it's Jess. He's like, okay.
You called me.
You called me.
You're the
you
cops.
Bozo. Yeah, go out. Just walk out of the house. Just walk right out of the house.
Yeah.
And leave. And, you know, of course, she's like, I have to get Phil and Barb, not knowing that they're both dead.
Right.
But now he's like, no,
But she's
don't do that.
heroic.
She is heroic. She sees the fireplace poker. She gets it, but she's screaming for them. She's like, Phil, Barb. Which at that point, don't you think
They're dead?
they're dead? Because Phil was not sleeping. Phil was awake.
Yeah.
So she would have answered.
Yeah.
At that point, you know, Bill and I were like Monday morning quarterbacking the situation, like what we would have done in that situation. And I think the only thing you do is leave because as far as you know, there's a cop like 20 feet away.
Right.
Like, go get him.
Yeah,
we know he's dead, but she doesn't.
Go outside. Like, hey, go inside. You're a cop.
You come with me at least, right? We'll go inside.
I'll just stand out here.
Yeah. Or, you know, and then if you find him dead, right? Look, is his gun there? Grab his gun.
Yeah.
You have a gun now. Start beeping the horn. Lights and sirens. Wake up the whole neighborhood. Now the whole neighborhood's got to go in the house with you. Like, do not do this.
But unlike Scream, where that's this postmodern world where there's tons of slashers.
Yeah.
This movie exists in a world before slashers.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first slasher.
They don't know. They've never watched this movie before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know. But she's a hero and she's a good person. Yeah. So she goes and checks.
And that's when you see, as she opens the door, she sees them both on.
It's like
Bar's
comical
bed.
how they're posed. It's like heads together.
But you see like the killer's eye.
Just his eyeball.
And what does he say? He says, Agnes, don't tell them what we did.
Agnes, don't tell them what we did.
And then she slams the door on him and hits him. And he's like,
goes buck wild. He goes crazy. He's like, ah! Like that's what he does. Every time he does something, run, he's like making wild animal noises.
Yeah. He grabs her hair, but we don't see him.
No, we just see the arm and hand.
We kind of see him when he's killing Barb.
You see him in silhouette. He has this kind of hair that looks like Peter's hair.
He looks a lot like Peter.
Yes.
Although they have different color eyes. This is when she runs into the basement.
Yeah, she can't get out the front door.
So she goes to the basement.
Because like he would be on top of her if she did. So because she like rounds the bottom of the stairs to get away from him. Because otherwise if she went straight, he would have been on her.
Right.
So she turns and gets into the basement, locks the door behind her.
Right.
Which he's like trying to wildly open the door. And
right.
Like you can hear the wood straining. Yeah. Like he's trying to crack it open. Like every good basement, there's like a mannequin in there.
Of course. I was just listening to an episode of Gorley and Rust where they were referencing some other comedian who said like in movies you have to have an old bird cage in your attic,
which is this movie. Yeah. And there's also a mannequin in the basement in Home Alone.
Of course, you need a mannequin. Somebody was a fashion designer at some point. Even if Peter's not the killer, which he's not, it's bananas that he breaks the glass.
It is crazy.
That's a crazy
thing to do. Yeah.
You don't know there's a killer.
No.
Go through the front door and let her out of the basement.
Why would you
do that?
It makes no sense. Unless he was there to menace her and to threaten her and to be crazy with her, which I think he was.
He doesn't, in that moment, he doesn't threaten her. But
like,
she's
hey,
so sure he's the killer at this point.
Of course.
And we don't even see her
hit
him.
hopeful and then retreat back in the shadows. Like, oh, no. And they do this fake out where you think they're both dead.
Yes.
But she's alive.
Yeah, the cops show up.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie is brilliant. And again, it's like, it feels like a failure because men are controlling her body. She's been sedated by the doctor.
Yeah.
She's just laying lifeless in the bed.
Yeah.
All the men are around her, patting themselves on the back. We found the killer. I can't believe it. Chris is there. The cop is there. The dad is there. This is great. We've tied it all up in a little bow.
Her parents are coming.
She's just there.
She'll be out for at least 4 hours.
Claire's dad passes out.
Yeah.
So the cop's like, oh, let's bring him to the hospital.
Right. Let's not bring her to the hospital.
We'll leave her here and just shut the lights off.
Well, a cop was supposed to stay with her. He said, I'll stay with her. But then in the hullabaloo of getting Claire's dad to the hospital, he leaves with them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what if she didn't die eventually at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And she just woke up in a dark house after having murdered her
Right.
boyfriend,
Someone's
and no
gonna be
one
there.
was there.
There is a cop outside. We see him in the final shot.
I guess.
But what is he fucking
What is he
doing for
doing?
anybody?
Yeah, nothing.
And it's brilliant because the camera is locked off. So she's kind of in, I would say, a full shot. And she's the dominant in the composition. Like, she's the one you're looking at, but she's still where there's all this movement around her, and then the lights are off, and then the camera starts to move, and then we pass the other rooms and we see Barb's bloody bed.
Yes, but all the sheets have been taken off, but you see the blood stains on the mattress.
Then we see
the suitcase.
Phil's empty room, or is it Claire's empty room?
It's Claire's empty room with a suitcase on the floor.
Then we follow up into the attic. This was before Steadicam was invented, so they just strapped a real camera to this person, the camera person. I don't know how they did this, and they go up to the attic, and then she's there, and then we pull out. It's the first shot again, and the phone starts ringing. And,
well.
Yeah.
Do we hear him say it? I think because
we hear him say something. Yeah.
Because the attic, you see the piece of wood moving again.
Yes.
And you hear him go like, Agnes.
Yes.
Agnes, it's me, or whatever he says. What does he say?
Yeah. Do I have it? We hear laughing and singing.
Mm-hmm. And he says, Agnes, it's me, I think.
Yeah.
Don't tell him what we did. Yeah.
We see her face in the window again.
Yeah.
We see the cop hanging outside the door. And the credits roll as we see the shot of the house. We could see Claire in the window and the phone's ringing. And you hear the phone ringing and the howl of wind. And the cop just hanging outside. And that's the end.
That's it.
It's such a brilliant ending.
Jess is dead, right? Is she as good as dead? Like, he knows she's in the house. He's heard everything.
I like the fact that he's up in the attic makes me feel like maybe he's gonna hide.
Like maybe he'll leave her alone.
Yeah, I want to think she lives because look, they will eventually. Because somebody says something about checking the house. They will eventually, and also at some point, someone's gonna notice Miss Mac's gone.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're gonna find the bodies.
Eventually, they will find the bodies, but I feel like Jess will be killed in the interim. Yes, because we hear it in time of hours, right? Like she'll be out for 4 hours. We hear her parents will be here in a couple of hours, so no one's coming.
Yeah,
no one's coming.
And the cops outside, which is dangerous.
The wood
inside.
is moving. That means he's on the move.
Yeah.
He's coming down.
So, but what a heartbreaking ending because
it is a heartbreaking
ending. She's this
ending.
self-possessed woman who's going to get an abortion because she wants
whose life has been ruined by the men in her life.
And put in danger by the men in her life.
Put in danger.
Who are patting themselves on the back. And now she's going to get murdered while she's sedated.
Yes. She cannot defend herself. Her agency has been taken by the end of this movie.
And this whole house has been destroyed. Yeah. All the women are gone. I mean, that's what you see with the empty rooms. He's completely blown through them all. And the last person we see is this male cop just being completely clueless outside. It's such a powerful ending. The other ending, right, was that Chris, Claire's boyfriend, was gonna be the killer. Yeah, that you see him standing over the bed at the end, like doing the voice or something, like holding I don't know what, a knife. I'm not really sure. And then he kills her. Yeah. Yeah, she dies at the end of the original movie. Like, not the original movie, but like the original ending, she dies. Yeah. Which I feel like I love that it's more ambiguous, but I also still feel that she dies. I feel like she has to die to show how bad men are. Yeah, that's what this movie's about. That's really the point, right? Yeah. I think it's funny because, yeah, you're right. Like the people who would say like this is woke and this is like, you know, Barbie, like men are stupid, but you know, in this movie it is that same message, right? Like men can't be trusted with a damn thing. And the best man, right? Who I would argue is Chris. I was going to say Chris and the cop, but even them, they're so self. At the end, when she's sedated in the bed, they're like, "Yeah, it was Peter. I knew it was Peter. Yeah, I knew it was Peter. Blah, blah. We won." Like they're just patting themselves on the back, and it's like, even we did it. Even then, it's like, no, you're gonna miss it. You're not really looking, and you're gonna miss what it is. Yeah. Because he was wrong. Peter, I think, was dangerous. But he was wrong. His hunch that Peter was a killer was wrong. And he's so like, yeah, my hunch was right. And it's like, no, your hunch is wrong. Yeah, it was completely wrong. It's not Peter. Yeah. I do like that we don't.
I
There
like
isn't
that-
a big reveal. You don't see the killer.
No, there's no backstory. There's no flashback. We don't know why he's doing it. We really don't know what the story is. I just put, I had an idea of a story, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like that you're not told. And I like that they trusted the audience enough to feel like this is going to be fine. Like, they'll figure it out, or they don't have to figure it out. And that's also fine.
Yeah.
It's not a problem to be solved. It's just a scary thing.
He almost only exists as a voice, and in every other movie similar to this, at some point they break that. Right? In Scream, eventually it's the Ghostface figure,
You almost called him Ghostface Killer.
which would have made it a better movie. Really. But in this, like, you do see him, but like he little slivers, like his eye and stuff. Like, he's mostly embodied as a voice.
Yeah. I also thought it was his house because why would he know the phone number by heart?
I do like the idea that's his house, but I like my theory of the house represents the female body.
I completely agree. I think there's I think this film has layers. I really love it. I think it has a lot to say.
I also think, given that this is at Christmas, Jess's whole thing about being pregnant,
Oh
and
my
wanting to
God!
get rid of it
Yes,
is
the
like a
Virgin
Christ
Mary,
story. Yeah.
Who also did she have a choice? Really? God says you're gonna have
No.
my kid, right? Like, they teach that Mary said yes to God.
Yeah.
And that's a new lesson. I never learned that as a kid. That's like a new one.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like it's the politics of consent. Like, she has to say yes now.
Okay.
But I don't think that she had any say in the matter.
Wow. And Peter's the only one that knew she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So the cops don't even know at the end that she's pregnant there. The baby could be dead already from all the trauma that she's going through.
Who knows, right?
Or the killer.
The
will
lieutenant
kill it
knows
when-
that she's pregnant.
Oh, he
He
does?
does. She tells him, like, what's that about? Because
Oh,
Peter
right.
calls, like, distraught, like, don't kill the baby. Don't
Right,
kill the baby.
right.
And in that moment, he really does sound like the killer because the killer's been talking about a baby this whole time.
Yeah. Right.
He's like, I need to know what that was about. And she's like, I'm pregnant. And also, she doesn't shy away from it. I'm pregnant and I want to have an abortion. Or
Right.
I'm planning on having an
She
abortion.
uses the word abortion with no problem.
Yeah.
And she even says, "I'm doing it because I don't want a kid and I have ambitions. I want to
Yeah.
follow my career." What the fuck?
She's not apologizing to anybody.
And
Nor should
he
she.
Peter's trying to weaponize marriage too.
Yes.
He's like, "We'll get married," and
Thinking like it's gonna stun her. It's gonna sweep her off her feet. Like,
right? And she's like,
I'm
"No."
proposing. And
She's
she's like, well, that's a funny joke. I'm not interested.
that's a hard no for me.
Yeah. It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm delighted that you like this movie.
I really did.
because I know you were like reticent about doing it.
You were like, does this entice you in any way? You're sending me shorts about it. I'm like,
You're like, no.
I don't
Please
have
leave me
any
alone.
interest in this movie.
So I was like,
Please stop trying to control my eyes, which are a part of my body.
I'm so sorry.
And make me watch something.
Yeah, I was, I was like, am I prepared to like be the defender of this movie if she hates it? But I'm glad you liked it.
No, I really like it.
It's better than you think it's gonna be.
So much better.
Probably because it gets lumped in with those other holiday slashers, which kind of are all stupid.
Yes, I find them very stupid, and that's what I was worried that this would be. But it's not that. It's a super smart movie. I would say it's incidental that it's even at Christmas time, but at Christmas time enhances it so much.
Right. You don't need it to be at Christmas time,
But it's so much better that it's at Christmas time.
it does so much to it.
And it allows for so many of the plot to happen because people are leaving. People are missing, but you don't know that they're missing because they've gone for the holidays.
Yeah.
Things are
It's
loud.
cold
You don't
outside,
hear
yes.
people being murdered.
People are
because
drinking in
yeah.
a very loose way.
Yeah. It's all these things that have to do with the holidays or the attitudes that people have around the holidays.
Right.
Yeah, they're just like, it's a party. It's fine. It's the holidays. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
We didn't talk about this before, but there's a moment that I really like, and it's actually really good acting. When Andrea Martin as Phil is like crying and holding Jess, and she's like, "I know Claire's dead. I'm sure she's dead."
I know she is. Yeah.
And she's right. And something about that is just, I don't know.
She's like, I just know it.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that. There was some verisimilitude to that moment of like,
well, Andrea
she's
Martin's
like,
so
they're
great.
looking for, she's dead. She's dead.
I know she's dead.
Yeah.
She's like, this is not, she's not saying these words, but it's like, it's not Claire. This is not like her. Like, she'd have to be
Right.
dead to be doing this.
Right. She's so sure she's dead.
Yeah.
And in a lesser movie, Andrea Martin would have been like, "I'm a nerd," and like
Yeah.
I gotta go straighten my pencils or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
But she's got a boyfriend.
she's just the most reasonable person.
She's also shown to be a woman who
They're all
has
horny.
a sex life, and
These girls would hump the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
They sure
if
would.
They could get up there. Incredible. It's also it's also weird. It's weird that Claire's dad goes into shock at that moment. What
moment.
What about that moment makes him like?
Not when they. What was their window open? Are you locking the windows because of Black Christmas? Please do.
Oh, this is the only locked window in the house.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's weird that he goes into shock at that moment, not the moment he stumbles upon the corpse of a 13-year-old girl in the park. Like, that's strange.
And what is he thinking at that point? Like, he's like, my daughter's definitely dead at this point, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. He has to think like, okay, this all went down. Claire has to be gone.
Yeah.
Like, Claire's dead in a ditch somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
And no one's going upstairs.
What a gem. It's so much better than it has a right to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill kept saying that too. He's like, this movie has no right to be this good. It's
Do you know what
really
the best
good.
scene is in Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Mm-mm.
He works in a toy store, and there's a scene, and they must have filmed in a real toy store. So there's a scene where he's standing in front of a immaculate Masters of the Universe display of all the figures in Castle Grayskull, and that was to me the most interesting part of that movie.
I bet it was.
I was like, this movie is lame. Yeah, this movie's so good. This is at one point, I think it was released with a different name because they were afraid that people would think it was a blaxploitation movie.
Yes.
But you know what it is? A Canucksploitation movie.
Canucksploitation.
Right, because there was a time, and the same thing is also true for Christmas Story. There was a time where kind of was like a tax haven. Like, you could make movies super cheap there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Clark is an American, but he expatriated. He left and went to live in Canada, and his whole career is in Canada. These are Canadian productions that he's made.
Okay.
And those, even though Christmas Story is not an exploitation movie, those bunch of movies are collectively called Canucksploitation.
Canucksploitation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I've never heard of that. I'm trying to see. It was because it was released under. Okay, the film under the title "Stranger in the House" was set to make its network television premiere in 1978, but that was 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks after
the real killings.
The real killings occurred. And then it has this thing here. Oh, it was released in America as Silent Night, Evil Night.
Huh.
Due to fears that the original title would mislead audiences into believing the film was a blaxploitation
Oh, so Black
movie.
Christmas it's Canadian.
Yeah.
I like Black Christmas.
No people of color in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
Sadly not.
No. But no people of color killed, so, also good.
Supposedly Bob Clark is like, oh, it's a joke on White Christmas. Which I like.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Black Christmas, White Christmas, or like a Black Mass, or like,
and
something.
White Christmas is a famous Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And a famous Christmas song.
Yeah. I like that. That's kind of fun.
Well, this is a fantastic movie, and Merry Christmas to you.
And Merry Christmas to you. And I hope you have a better one than these gals did.
I hope not, actually. Merry Christmas, everyone listening. Happy holidays, everyone listening.
That's right. However you celebrate.
Yes, whatever you're into, do it. And I hope you and your loved ones are happy. And let's gird our loins for the new year.
Oh boy! Oh mercy! It might be scarier than Black Christmas. We don't know.
Yeah, but Andrea Martin's alive
and well, and she's with us, and we thank
we
thank our lucky stars.
The career that she had after this,
right? Because this is before SCTV,
so she's not even like She's just an actress now. She's not even a comedian now.
She started in 1976 for SCTV. So this is 2 years before.
So she becomes a comedic dynamo later.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love her. She's great.
She's fantastic. Miss Mac only had one other movie. She did not have a career really. But goddamn, she didn't need to.
She stole the show.
She
took it away.
Where she hides her little booze in a book, in a
A
toilet.
toilet tank.
Disgusting.
Like, what? Are you Jason Bourne? You don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
Just keep it in your room.
Don't you own this house?
I'm sorry. Are they looking through your things?
Yeah.
You really have to hide it?
Anyway. Janine, thank you so much for being here, and
Thank
happy
you so
holidays.
much. Thank you so much.
We
for
end
having
every
me.
episode.
Oh. Oh, no. You're going to get that?
You gotta keep him on the line for at least 3 minutes.
It's Billy.
Go bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, William. You say go bye-bye.
You said it. I was,
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
you
oh,
have
I
to
guess
say
I
it.
didn't say it. All right. Go bye-bye.